Hello everyone, my name is Yuri from Mouse, and we are here for another track guide for the GT Sprint series on iRacing. This is week 3 and we are at Watkins Glen. We're driving the Porsche this time. Porsche has some really nice characteristics for these medium speed corners around the track. Lots of elevation changes, a couple spots to overtake. All in all, it's a really nice track to drive. Let's get right into how to drive around this track. Right, so here we are in the last sector, race field as usual. And it looks like it's about to rain, but trust me, it won't. It can't rain yet this season in the GT Sprint series. So here we are about to start the lap. Want to brake at the 200 mark for turn 1. Use the inside curb to get rotated. You can use all the curb on the outside here, as long as 2 tires are on that curb, you're good. Then for the chicane, you want to be as close to the right side wall as you can, without actually hitting the right side wall. So we brake at 300. Get close to the wall as we can. Keep going as straight as we can. Patient here with the inputs. Only go back on power when you feel like the car starts to rotate. Brake just before the asphalt on the right. And again, careful on the uphill, I have to be patient here. Oversteer on the entry and understeer on the exit. Especially the Porsche very much likes to understeer on the exit there. Hard to find the braking point here. Exit you can run all the way wide. You can enter a lot faster than you think here. You can just keep it in 3rd gear. In the last corner you have to be very patient with the rear. If you want to lift before. It went very wide there on the first left-hander. And close to the wall for the exit. And that's the lap around Watkins Glen. So, on the outside cam here, let's have a closer look at how the lap looks like. Turn 1. You don't want to run all the way along the grass here, because as you can see, the grass goes a bit further to the inside. So I like to run the left tires right along the white line to turn 1. Then I brake around the 200 mark. And you want to get your right side tires on this curb here, close to this edge. This edge goes up against the 3D curb. If you hit this, the car can understeer. So you want to run very close to this edge without hitting this edge. And then, of course, you can go on throttle very, very early. The car gets really pushed into the road here. And then you have to make sure that you're staying with 2 tires still on the curb here on the exit. 2 tires on this curb is fine. If you go over, you get an off track. And this is easy flat. Quite hard to overtake though, because it's easy to just defend the inside every time. But easy flat, extra straight. And for the chicane, you want to look around the 300 mark and brake there. But you really want to look at getting close to the wall as you can. So you have the wall on the right side there, and you really need to be close to this wall on the right side. Because this curb here, it's like a triangle. It's the highest point here. So if you take it with a lot of margin to the wall, you'll have more bounce and you'll need to go even slower through the chicane. The closer you go to the wall here, the lower the curb is, and as you can see, when we're really close to the wall, the car kind of just floats over it. The Porsche is really good there as well. In some other cars, like the Lambo, like the Audi, if you hit this highest point of the curb, you're really gonna have some issues. So try to really get as close to the wall. If you're not comfortable, just go a bit slower, but getting close to the wall makes it a lot easier. Then from there on, you just want to follow the racing line, meaning you want to hit these patches of tarmac before and after the curb. So you want to hit this patch of tarmac here and hit this patch of tarmac here. If you do that right, you should be able to go back on throttle before hitting the second apex here, and it should be easy flat from there. Then you want to brake slowly for this corner here. If you brake too hard, you're gonna either understeer or oversteer. To be very smooth with the inputs. And I like to be around the inside again, where this entry road stops as reference. I don't look at that, but you can use it as review of as if you're apexing the right way. And the moment I go full throttle is a moment when I feel the car has bite on the front end, so that I don't understeer into the outside wall, because that's very, very easy to do. Then on the exit here again, you can use all of this runoff here as well, but you need to be back without hitting the grass at that point. And this is really tricky, this corner, because all the weight is on the front end when we start turning. We're going down as well, so the rear likes to be very, very loose. I brake a tiny bit before this patch of tarmac here, and then slowly get towards the inside. See the rear wants to get very, very loose. You either follow the inside curb, or you use this point here where there's a bit of a kink in the curb as your apex. And again, run all the way wide, easy to understeer. You get an off track if you're too far off the curb here on the exit. Then we get to one of the most tricky corners in the track, I think, because the racing line is very, very unintuitive, I would say. I tried to brake about 20 meters before this kink in the white line, which ends up being just after the 200 marker on the left side here. And then we're not going to the inside immediately because there's camber on the outside here. And we want to use that camber to get up the hill. So it's a bit of a hole on the inside here, so we go very, very wide on the entry. And then we apex very, very late all the way at the end here when we're already flat out. And then so be careful with going flat out, because it's very, very easy to understeer wide, especially again in the Porsche here. And then we got this tricky braking area here. You can use the 200 as braking point, but for me the 200 is slightly too early. I use this line on the road here, these couple lines where the rubber lines start. I use that as my braking point. And down 2 gears, you can run all the way wide on the exit here. It's all fine, but you have to be careful. If you clip this patch of grass, it likes to give you an off track. So try to be back before this patch of grass, or at least just about hits with one tire. If the middle of the car, I think, is to the left of this point, which it goes quickly to the right, you get the off track. And then you got this upper left-hander where it feels like you have to brake really, really early. But because we're going uphill, the car slows down really quickly. You can take a lot of speed in here. I like to look at this edge in the white line here again, because there's no brake markers, and brake just before this edge on the right side. And again, down 1 gear. Brings us the last 2 corners. And depending how you have the car set up, normally you want to trim a bit of the downforce off for the long backside. You have to be careful with the rear in these last 2 corners. So, where you want to lift is on the entry of the corner, and then slowly increase the throttle the longer through the corner you go. If you do it the opposite way, and you only start lifting here, all the weight goes to the front end and not the rear end, which is getting loose. And you lose the car much easier. So start lifting early if you need to lift. If you're running a lot of downforce, and if there's a lot of grip on the servo, you might be able to take it flat. But that's very, very tricky and very much on the limit. On the exit here, you can see we can run all the way to the right side. As long as we're back before this curb ends, we're all good. So at this point we need to be back, we don't get the off track. We bring it all the way to the left quickly, down 1 gear, and then try to set it up for a good exit. You can go on power much quicker than you think here because of the camber, and then just get close to the wall in the exit. Make sure you get a good exit. That's a lap around Watkins Glen. So there we go. A lot of fun to try this track, especially in the Porsche. Lots of elevation changes, like here through the boot. Lots of camber in the corners that makes it very interesting to drive. Multiple lines that are worth it. I hope you guys learned something, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I will see everyone next week.